Today we're going to be covering a complete in-depth guide to settings for our creators. This is going to be an optimized guide for clarity, FPS, and consistency. I've tested tons of setting guides and compiled all of the best settings into one guide for you guys today. These settings are what the pros and streamers are using that they don't tell you about. So what I've done is I've actually created a arc settings zip file for all the links and applications that we talked about in the video. All they are text files with the links. There's no exe files in this. I did it on purpose because I just got routed myself and it's been living hell. So none of that in there. And the link to this is actually going to be in my Discord, which I just created. So there's literally no one in here. So it'll be in the tweak guide. You guys will be the first people to actually be in this Discord, which will be lonely but also awesome. So yeah, link to that is in the description as well. So come say hi. So first things first is we're going to put a config in for our creators. This one's from the creator Freethy. Very credible. He does a lot of config and optimization guides. But the link to his video down in the description, he also tells you how to do it. Definitely giving credit to him considering this is his config. First things first though, we need to make sure that scripts are enabled. So you come down here, PowerShell, turn this on. I'm going to exit out of that for now. Going to go to GitHub game configs. Go all the way to the bottom, take this link right here, just click the copy button, and then we go to PowerShell, right click, run as administrator, yes, we're just going to post that GitHub link in there. It's totally safe. If you don't trust me, skip this part, but this is from Freethy. We are obviously going to click number 2 for our creators and enter again, and the arc creators config is applied. So just to give you kind of an idea of what that config changes, this is the file I've downloaded from Freethy himself. He teaches you in this video how to do it manually. If you don't want to run the script, that's totally understandable. I'll link his video down in the description, but this is the file right here. We're going to open the game user settings. It just changes shadow quality, texture quality, sets everything to zeros, just stuff that you can do if you did it yourself. He has the file readily available for you guys. This is not bannable. These are settings that you can change, but you can't change them in the game itself. Something else I wanted to cover is a Windows optimization guide. This is something you don't have to do, but I've done this on every PC I've had. I've used this guide right here from Corby. It is a very lengthy guide. This is just going to debloat Windows and optimize the computer itself for not only our creators, but every game. I'll link this down below. Again, this is something that's totally optional. This is something that I've done for my PC though. I do it. The first thing I do when I reset my PC, when I get a new PC, is totally optimize Windows. This is the guide I use. This will be down below. So we got the game loaded up. Let's go over some settings here. Go over to graphics settings. I've reset everything, so we're going to do it together. I run window mode on borderless full screen. This is native right now. We can go over resolution later. While this is off, go ahead and turn the Nvidia Reflex Low Latency mode onto on plus boost because it's going to change here in a second. When we turn the frame generation on, I run auto, which I think by default puts it to 2x for me, which is good considering I have a 40 series graphics card. If you have 50, run 3 to 4x and on and on. If you don't, I guess just run auto or maybe even try off. Upscaled resolution, we're not worried about. The resolution scaling mode we are going to run as DLSS. And for the quality, we run performance with the model on transformer. It's the best right now for PvP, for in-game, for visibility, frames, etc, etc. Field of view, obviously you want to do max. Motion blur, you can't see right now, but it's off. Anyways, we want that off. The global illumination, we want to run it static. And everything else, this is almost perfect right now. I'm going to run this on high. If you have a high PC, maybe epic, maybe cinematic, I run high just for the perfect in the middle. If you lower in PC, again, maybe switch down to medium. I'm running high just so I can see things further in the distance. Everything else on low, besides how you can see there is no shadows by my character right now. Turn on to medium, there's shadows, it's something we definitely want to run when seeing enemies and etc. The rest of this, you can kind of mess around if you come to the range over here, see the things change in the background. A lot of this we're not worried about, especially when we want frames. Foil is just going to add some bullshit to the ground. We don't really care, just more things to look at. We run that everything on low. And then in-game performance overlay, I run simple. It's going to put my frames up there. As you see, we're at 350 in the range, of course. I run it right 250 to 300 in-game. And that's it for the graphics settings for right now. Now we're going to go over some Nvidia control panel settings. I believe in the Windows Debloat guide that I linked earlier, this is something that it actually covers. However, if not, here it is right now. First things first, we have to come up here to adjust image settings with preview and turn this actually on. Use the advanced 3D image settings that allows us to actually use the settings that we're changing. And these are the settings. I'm just going to scroll through them and you guys can pause. I believe that's what people do anyways. No point of me just going over every them. A lot of them are just turned off, like a default setting. So I'm going to scroll through them now. So the next thing that we're going to change for our creators is the desktop color settings. Brightness is going to still be at 50, contrast still at 50, gamma is what actually matters. This is for helping see in dark corners. The maps are kind of dark. I have mine at 1.4, the default is 1. I've seen people run anywhere from 1 all the way up to 1.6. If you want to copy mine, that's totally fine. If you want to test yours out, it's totally fine. I would recommend staying probably within that range. So I've seen people run all the way up to 2 actually, so I mean, that works. It's up to y'all. When you go super high, kind of just makes the game look weird. I run right there in the middle, haven't noticed it looking anything crazy. So that's something you need to test out, but I would recommend running the gamma a little bit higher. And I have my digital vibrance to 75. So the next thing that we're going to be covering is how to change your res for our creators. You can run stretch res in this game. So right above it is change resolution. I'm going to click customize, create custom resolution. Right now, I'm currently running 1440 by 1080. That's very stretched. If not, this is another good res, 1728 by 1080. I ran that for a while until I went ultra stretch at 1440. So let's go ahead and just put that 1440. Make sure your refresh rate is all the way up. The rest of this can stay default. Now to get the Nvidia filters, this is post-patch. This is February 5th. Right now you can still use it. I'm sure it'll be passed here in the future. But to get the upper hand right now, first thing you gotta do is actually go and uninstall the Nvidia app, and we are uninstalling the Nvidia FrameView SDK. Basically what we're doing is we're loading up an old version of the Nvidia app that is not blocked and running the filters through that. So as of right now, this is still, you can't get banned for this. This is a old version of Nvidia. This will get patched, but you can do it right now. Second thing we're going to do is come down here to Nvidia control panel. We're going to go to manage 3 settings, program settings, and we're going to add our creators in as a game. So the next thing we want to do is actually run Nvidia Profile Inspector. If you did the Debloat guide earlier in the video, then you will already have this app. If not, the link will also be down in the description for it. So open up Nvidia Profile Inspector. And we want to come down to 5 and make sure Ancel is turned on. It's already turned on for me. Turn it off, turn it on. You just want to hit apply changes and then we're done with Nvidia Profile Inspector. So next thing we want to do is actually install the old Nvidia app. This is a direct link from the official Reddit. It's an official Nvidia link. So I'll put that down in the description. We want to download that. Open that up. Yes. Again, make sure that you already uninstalled the old one. This is still going to allow you to do shadow play and everything. Agree and continue. The biggest thing here is that we cannot close this as of right now. We can't close it yet. If you close it, it's going to auto update to the new version, and we do not need it to update. We need to leave it right now, so just minimize this. So the next thing that we're going to do is actually block the Nvidia app from updating. So to do that, we go down to Windows Defender, and we come to Advanced Settings. We go to Outbound Rules. As you can see, I already have them blocked. This is also from that Debloat earlier. However, you go New Rule, Program, Browse, and then we want to block Nvidia Container. Next, block the connection. next, and then name it whatever. I named it as Nvidia container so that I didn't lose it in case later I need to take it off. I'm not gonna go through with that. And then again, we need to go in here, program path, and we need to block the app as well. So just go halfway through with that. Block connection, next, name it Nvidia app. And once you have those blocked, so now that we got the game open, Alt-C, come down to game filter, and as you can see, we can add all these filters again. I will give my settings here in a second. Let me flash forward and actually set them up because I actually just reset them with you guys. So these are my game filters right here. We have exposure at -4, contrast at 16, highlights at 100, shadows at -30, game at 0. That is under brightness and contrast. And for color, we have tint color 0, tint intensity 0, temperature 0, and the vibrance at 20. And for the details tab, sharpen down to 0, clarity at 10, HDR turning at 100, bloom at 0. Then we also added a sharpen with the intensity at 100 and the ignore film grain at 75. So if you did have a problem with the filters, it could be your drivers. So you actually don't want to update your drivers to the app anymore. I don't even know if it'll allow you. But what you want to do is do a manual driver install. So you put all in your information, click start search. This link will also be down in the description. I'm not going to do it because I already have it installed, but this is the manual install. You'll just want to download the recent driver, run the exe file, and it'll update the driver yourself. Then the filter should work for you. Now just to go over some keybinds in case anybody's actually interested. I have not changed the majority of the things, however I have swapped the toggle and the hold. I have my hold on C, that's what I run in most games. I actually recommend leaving this default. There's some situations where it kind of screws me over. I'm not used to running controls hold, so I've flipped them. I have my dodge roll on V. I have shoulder swap on X. Unarmed is on my bottom thumb mouse button, the one closer to my thumb. Reeves, the player, put me onto that. That's what he runs. I tried it, and it's definitely what I enjoy using. Then for the rest of everything, I think it's default. I did put my proximity chat on Z. As far as sensitivity goes, run 1717. The sense that I run on everything else would be equivalent to 1616. However, I felt that it needed to be a little bit faster. Setting you absolutely need to turn off is the mouth smoothing, and put that to off, obviously. So for Crosshair, this is the Crosshair that I was running. If you want it, it is here. These are all the settings for it. But what I will say that I use now is I downloaded an application called CrosshairX. It is here. It's only $5 on Steam. I've heard there's other ways to get it. Do your own research on that, but it is only $5. What this actually allows you to do is import crosshairs into the game as like an overlay. This is Lies Crosshair, this is Strafe's Crosshair. I've been using both. I actually like Lies more. No offense to Strafe, it's just a normal crosshair that I would use on like Counter-Strike, etc. So I already have that downloaded, and that is the crosshair overlay. And to actually get it, we have to put this on cross, turn everything off, and opacity down to 0. As you can see, it just kind of like a normal crosshair now. It's not the normal greatest crosshair. Actually, this is something that I've been using. I enjoy it a lot more. Give it a try if you're interested. If not, you can use my other crosshair. Then for anybody who's interested, this is my skill tree. It's almost a one-to-one copy of Shinya the Ninja's skill tree. There is a couple things off that I missed that I did not feel like resetting the whole skill tree for, but this is the skill tree I'm currently running. If I end up changing it in the next expedition or whatever, I will have it in my Discord link down below. However, this is the one that I'm currently running. So that's it for this setting guide. If this video helped you, please drop a like so more people will be able to see this video. As the meta changes, I'll make sure to make updates to the pinned comment, or I'll post them in my Discord. If you guys have any settings at all that worked better, make sure to drop them in the comments because I read all of my comments. I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.